I'm Nancy Leader on the Zeta Report.
There can hardly be any question that there is life on Mars, and that Mars sustained even more life in the past. What is that little mouse doing dashing away from the Curiosity rover? Ears laid back, right shoulder extended forward, left rear leg back, running for its life from that odd, clicking mechanical object moving toward it. I can imagine the pounding heart of that poor mouse, having never seen anything larger than a tasty bug or worm. The Earthlings have landed. Run for your life! And the skull of a sheep or goat has shown up. For the Zetas, the Annunaki brought both herds and mice to Mars from Earth, though the mice were certainly unwelcome passengers. The Annunaki brought grain, nuts, and dried fruit, which invariably have rodents if only tiny and young, and they live there still. Zeta Talk. For the Zetas, Mars had water on its surface, which is what it takes to build an atmosphere, and supported moss and bugs. The Annunaki mined for gold on Mars, and ran the water underground while washing their ore. In the past, Mars sustained moss and insects and worms. Where the atmosphere on Mars was thin, it was ample. Precious water increasingly was sent underground. Soon the atmosphere was too thin to breathe. Zeta Talk, 1995. Evidence of the Annunnaki's time on Mars is abundant. For decades, Hoagland tried to get NASA to film more details of the face on Mars, along with the nearby pyramids. It is not in the imagination of man that some of the structures on Earth, such as the giant pyramids and the Sphinx, seem reminiscent of structures on Mars. Same group, same handiwork. Zeta Talk, 1995. The remnants of their cities can still be seen: irrigation routes, roads, and the grid of streets within the cities. Lumber, not yet rotted, from wood stock brought from Earth. Holes punched into the rock for unknown reasons. Were they looking for gold-rich ore? Evidence of strip mining is apparent in some places also, though such terraced slopes could also have been irrigated gardens. The high-definition Curiosity rover was placed in the Gale crater, which is almost entirely below sea level for Mars, a lower than average elevation. Since oxygen and carbon dioxide are scarce at higher elevations, but most abundant at the lower elevation, if life has persisted on Mars, this would be the place to rove about and find it. And indeed, the Annunaki were there. Note on the edge of the crater, in the distance, a communication antenna. This is thicker at the base for stability in the Mars sandstorms, with arms that make the antenna look like a cross. Please note, the Annunaki were not Christians, but per the Zetas, their Earth-based settlements communicated with their Mars settlements via communication boosted by crystals. Even before the quarantine period, the Annunaki had established a communication post on the Moon, and they had a mining operation on Mars long before setting up on the Earth. Zeta Talk, 1995. What's this? Clearly not a natural stone, as it has markings, and is tilted so it can be seen from a distance. A landing strip marker? And this is hardly a rock in the landscape either. Jewelry, a jewelry box perhaps, undoubtedly made of gold, as it has not tarnished over the years. And among the clutter discovered by the Curiosity rover, a doll's head with what looks like a hat. When compared to the ancient Sumerian depiction of the Annunaki face and dress, this is apparently a child's doll Annunaki facial features, with the tall peaked cap traditionally worn by the Annunaki, children at play in the Gale crater in the past. Life on Mars indeed.
Until next time on the Zeta Report, this is Nancy Leader.